All right, so Jacob's sick, so I'm back to intro on the show. It's not meant to have intros in the first place. It's funny how he keeps circling around with this topic.
Yeah, that's why I thought
they cancelled the Dublin press conference and for the Conor McGregor-Chandler fight. So the way I understand, I actually watched the post-fight press conference. What was for the event over the weekend, which was it 302? Yeah, it was 302. Poirier versus Islam, or Poirier versus Makhachev. And in the post-fight presser, Dana was like, yep, just about to hop on the plane, just about to have a chat to Conor about the press conference. And Dana managed to get all the way to Dublin before they called it off. So far, there's just been like no explanation for it. What do your guys feel? I throw it to you guys. If you had to bet on it, or if you had to put a percentage on it, how confident are you that the fight is going to go ahead? All press obligations, like this whole press tour, which I'm not sure where the last stop was. Was it in like Vegas or New York or something like that? That's been called off as well.
I think that I think it's still going to go through.
Okay.
I think it's still going to go through.
Was it Bender? Was it Conor? Because a lot, you know what the biggest thing that people are saying that I didn't really think of initially could just be Conor doing a money thing. Might not do these things, or I'm not getting paid for this. Pay me extra to show up to this, otherwise I'll pull out.
100%. That's what I was about to say. Was that Conor has the UFC wrapped around his finger, and I think he's basically calling most of the shots, in my opinion.
My first thought was that it's like the same thing. Like, would you notice to show up late or not show up at all to the Khabib ones and shit?
He showed up drunk. I don't know. I felt like he always came out on time. I think I always was watching replay packages.
I swear there's one where he comes out late because Khabib's sitting there and Conor's not there. And basically Khabib's like, this was meant to start 15 minutes ago. Like, and he's about to be like, this is bullshit. But I think he said something like, if he's not here in 10 minutes, I'm out of here type thing. So he definitely came late to some of them.
That was Eddie Alvarez, I think.
I think he did to Khabib as well.
I mean, maybe he's done it regularly. That would seem like part of Conor's bag of tricks to show up late for a press conference. It's all mental warfare.
Yeah, it's when he grabbed Eddie Alvarez's belt and he put it on the table.
No, he grabbed Jose Aldo's belt. You're fucked. You're off. Just
no. It was. I swear to you, it was Eddie Alvarez.
In terms of particulars, Jacob, this is not your episode.
The mink coat.
You're fevering out on us. But he definitely grabbed Jose Aldo's belt. That's the iconic like. What are you going to fucking do about it? And then he did his King of Rio speech. He's like, I'm going to come into your village and kill ya. God, he had some...
And kill your horse on horseback, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I reckon maybe it's a money thing. I'm hoping it's not an injury. I mean, but I still feel like they would have come out with it. The only reason people are saying that they wouldn't have announced an injury yet is just to buy him some time to come up with a replacement. Because the hectic situation that they're in, if the fight's in jeopardy, they broke the all-time UFC gate record for this. Like the ticket sales, was it 20 million? I'm not sure what the figure is specifically, but this is the highest grossing ticket sales for any UFC event ever. And the thing about Conor cards is they go all in on the Conor, because the Conor factor, like they don't really stack the cards. So it's gone from saying that probably does realistically justify like the gate based on Conor's popularity to something that is like, would be maybe the worst pay-per-view of the year in the same year as UFC 301.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But do you think they just replace Conor in that fight, or do you think they replace the whole fight?
Volkanovski, I think, has been on Twitter. I don't want that to happen.
What, saying he'll fight Chandler?
More the late notice aspect. I think, with a full camp, I wouldn't be worried about Volkanovski fighting Chandler on any, in a lot of contexts, but it's just specifically Volkanovski needs to be very smart about the timing and the opponent selection, or at least one of those things for his next fight. So I wouldn't like to see him dive into this. But having said that, Dana would for sure just pay the shit out of someone to jump in at last minute. So, because and people were saying maybe Holloway versus Chandler. I feel like Holloway still took a decent amount of damage though in his, and it'd be too quick of a turnaround for him. It is way too quick, isn't it? It has been 5 weeks. No, hold on. 8 weeks. No, honestly, maybe Max could realistically. I'm not saying he should, but I think he could do that turnaround, especially if Dana dropped like a sizable bet, which again, I think he would need to. And the other thing that people threw out there was O'Malley versus maybe pushing O'Malley versus Merab, trying to see if those two would consider doing it last minute. Again, well, like I said, I think all things are possible through money. If Turkey, that boxing guy,
where's Nate Diaz at these days?
Not contractually with the UFC at the moment.
Dang, because he if he fought Chandler, I feel like that'd do bits.
Could be a free agent though. Yeah. I mean that's something that I think people will be like, okay, yeah, pretty good considering it's so last minute.
I could see Usman doing it.
Usman versus Chandler. I just think for Chandler that's such a rough fight.
Yeah, no, it is.
Wait, how many divisions?
Yeah, I guess that's a real spectacle, dude. He's going to have to jump to hit Usman's head.
Is Usman tall?
Isn't he welterweight?
Not really. No, okay. I'm making it. I guess it's probably just like a Volk Holloway difference. You're right. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. All right. That I've just never entertained them potentially colliding.
Yeah. I hadn't either until right now.
Yeah. I think there's a high chance that the Merab Sean O'Malley happens because Merab's always fight ready. That guy wasn't he like prepared to hop in if Chito Vera or someone else pulled out because he was there for the weigh-in against.
So there's no female superstar. The only female champ that would have realistically potentially had the matchups to be a replacement fight for this. Oh, and it maybe get Amanda out of retirement. Again, I don't because again, there's no one. Yeah, but even then, like, there's no female fighter currently where it's like this is the person. You know, we need Amanda to come back to see if she can, like, if she's still got it. So I don't know if that's it either. But then so then going through the male champs, you can't do it with the ones where you can't do it with Pantoja, and again the division. It's like there's no clear contender. There are contenders. You go up to bantamweight, maybe. Featherweight, I really doubt Ilya's going to jeopardize. I think he's really on his own schedule right now, as much as he's in control of things. Again, going up to lightweight, Islam's not going to make that turnaround. Welterweight, they're already booked. Middle, Izzy. I know, but yeah, they could push them forward. I think Izzy would do it for the bag. So that's another potential one. I don't think Aspinall's moving off the Manchester card.
Trachis?
What's Pereira doing?
Who's he fight though?
Oh, you just dust off anyone. Again, these are the sorts of fights where I don't know. I think people would be a bit more disappointed. We've already got much better options.
Yeah, you'd have to go like Pereira, Aspinall or something.
Anyway, I guess we don't want to hang on this topic for too long because we do potential rabbit hole to dive down, especially once we start speculating. But that's the current state of things. So keep you updated. I mean, by the time this episode's dropped, there's probably actually been some updates as to what's happened. So it'll be interesting for you guys to see how good we are at predicting the future. What was the next thing we want to talk about? It's the airing of grievances. I have grievances. Oh, God, with Moochie. I have grievances with GoPro. What should we start with?
Moochie.
Okay. Moochie is like, I don't go out of my way to rip on Moochie. It's just that when the algorithm's serving me up things to rip on, he just does the best ATG guy robot bits. So he ends up featuring in some of my like ATG call out or response videos, I guess. But then, this week, so he like was sharing some deep tier stuff, like some low ceiling leaps. And it's interesting because KOT guy and Keegan Smith have been sniffing around Matt Watson stuff for a while now. And then Moochie, one of their ATG robot, one of the more popular ones, but they'll all be doing it soon. It's just Moochie's pretty quick onto the new developments of the ATG system. He must be in that inner circle. They're just claiming the deep tier thing as their own. Like, obviously they're going to plagiarize a whole bunch of people's intellectual property. They have a bit of I don't know how much I want to throw an Harvey edit this appropriately. Or maybe there's no way to sort of like, what? Okay, so this is what happened.
Let's do this properly. If any of these people that Angus is talking about want to come on the show and have their say and fight their corner, get the fuck on here. We will happily have you. And we will try and
I'm not getting Keegan Smith on the show because I don't think that there's any good that can come from interacting with that person whatsoever. But I was literally thinking, should we have Moochie on the show this week? I was going to bring it up on the show, see what you guys thought about it, and just see if any listeners wanted to comment on whether or not they'd be interested in having Moochie on the show. Because that was actually Keegan Smith's idea. He wanted us to do a long form debate, and I was just like, I got no interest in talking to Moochie. Like, it's just like, I just want to criticize what he's doing because I think it's garbage. And he can choose to learn from that if he wants. I'm not looking for like a back and forth. No, well, and we have to do it in a way where like we can't bully him. Like, I don't want that to happen, but obviously I'm not bringing him on the show for like a friendly chat and just to suck him off. I want to challenge some of his ideas on training. I want to ask him what he thinks about pain. Very curious to see what he thinks about pain because I feel like he has a really inadequate understanding of it. So Moochie, probably not listening because I know you don't consume good S&C content. So we'll throw an official invite out to you at some point.
Yeah.
So anyway, it seems like they've been getting into some of the deep tier stuff, but obviously pretending like it's a Keegan Smith.
Well, he does consume good S&C.
And like I said, we know especially Keegan Smith and probably Ben Patrick been sniffing around Matt Watson stuff for a while. And like everyone who's been paying attention, there's just so many big accounts who've got into the deep tier stuff over the last 2 years or so, and they've just all been crediting Matt Watson. It's interesting.
Can I ask though, like, and this is, I'm honestly not trying to have a go at anyone here, but like, is your issue with the fact that they've taken something someone else has done? Because as I understand it, there's no actual real way to like patent this stuff or really stake your claim in it as originally yours, right? Like, is the issue here that they are completely claiming it as theirs?
It's just that it's been so publicly acknowledged that this is a Matt Watson concept. You can, and people will rightly say, like, outsiders of this situation who aren't like as emotionally attached to these things as we are, will look at this and be like, well, no one owns movement, right? Like, and that's 100% true. And like, if you make an exercise, people shouldn't have to like pay you royalties to do that exercise or to talk about it or anything like that. I just think it's really cool when it's pretty clear that you've got an idea from someone that you give that person credit. Like, and like I said, you can go back and Mike Tyson, there's footage of him doing things that resemble deep tier. But in terms of like popular S&C accounts talking about deep range plyometric work, I can't tell you one of them that brought deep tier to the table and integrated into a system. And they're like, this is something that is a regular feature in my program. I don't think it ever leaves Matt Watson's programming. And sharing that, and so many accounts that have 50 to 100 to 200,000 followers have been getting into this stuff and getting other people into this stuff and be like, we all got this stuff from Matt Watson. Like a cumulative sum of people bigger than the ATG community is bigger than the plus players. I don't know, like it is just objectively.
Sure.
But then the trickle down effect of the plus players community and that network of integrated communities is so much bigger. And it's like, you're just going to do this in front of everyone? Because again, the ATG robots are in this ATG bubble. Whereas it's certain people within the ATG that are just paying attention, a couple of people, and that they're the ones that draw the ideas in and take all the credit for it.
Yeah, sure. So your issue is more with so your issue is more with the fact that they don't like shout out Matt Watson while they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I also feel
whatever. If no one else has a problem with this, I understand.
Well, because I was just kind of like, and again, not trying to have a go at anyone here, but like, by the same token, like, I mean, GPP can't be like a new concept, right? Like, people have been like hybrid training. Is that what everyone calls it?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty clear about like where my ideas on all the different sectors have come from. Case in point, all my thoughts on plyometrics essentially come from Matt Watson, the human movement aspect influenced by like Bill Hartman, David Gray, people like Pat Davidson and things like that from a programming perspective, like John Kiley, Mladen Jovanovic. Like, it's so easy for me to just rattle off where everything came from. But in terms of who was talking about like there being a real need, like a couple of coaches have referenced it in like pieces of content that they've made sporadically. But as far as like developing a brand around wanting people to view S&C as working with humans first and foremost, and the specificities in the individual, not what sport they play. Like, that's just one small component of it. and even like borrowing concepts from Matt Watson's system, like something that I was doing, but I never really thought about it, was just training all relevant qualities year round. And again, Matt Watson just has certain things that just never leave his program. And that's what I like moving away from like a phasic structure as well. Yeah. The sum of the GPP brand is something that is very, very unique in my opinion. Demonstrably so.
Totally. So have you spoken to Matt Watson about this whole thing? Like, is he up in arms about it, or is he like...
Okay, so this is the thing where I don't know if I can...
Also, I want to try to get him on very soon, so we can probably bring this up more when he's on.
Just get him on. Dude, because some of the messages that have been going on, you know what I can say? So Ben Patrick has like a whole bunch of people blocked. Okay, and I can't name them because again, then it'll sort of say like who he's messaged. But Ben Patrick has been unblocking a bunch of people and sending him the most haywire messages, man. Like, I don't know the specifics of what he sent to which people. I know about like 8 to 10 people that he sent just like paragraphs and paragraphs of messages to after unblocking them. But like not keeping it about fitness, just saying like the wildest shit in there about. I'm like, is it like what? But then just like blocking him instantly, like, oh sorry, not blocking him instantly. Like when they don't get back to him, they're just like leaving these huge paragraphs on scene, just like blocked again. Just like he seems. I feel like
that's the biggest compliment, no? Like for our industry.
I mean, yeah, I think there's a growing community just applying pressure to ATG to just do a better job of the way they talk about certain things. It's a system that has a net positive, but I just think they have a responsibility and a genuine ability to just do a bit better. It wouldn't be that hard.
Of course. And I feel like that's what people...
So this is the thing. Hey, this is the thing. Fucking the ATG gurus out there, if there's any of you listening, keep stealing the good ideas because your system does need to get better. Sorry, it's not stealing. You just talk about where you got it from. People aren't going to go anywhere. People are already in your ATG cult. You can credit other coaches and you can keep introducing and leveling up this system because that's it. One aspect of them integrating plyometrics more and having systems for that. I'm like, that's really cool. ATG, congrats. I think claps don't come through the microphone, but I was giving a round of applause there. But like I said, you just got to say where your ideas come from. That's all good.
Yeah. No, and I think that's the thing as well. And like, I don't know. I always had this attitude, and this might seem like a bizarre fucking analogy, but I always had this like attitude when I was working in the shop that like, if someone rang me up and was like, do you do this thing? And we didn't do it. My first response would be, nah, we don't, but here's where you can go to get it. These guys will help you out. They're in town just down the road or whatever. And like, I think if you can be helpful to someone, like when they come for you to help with something, even if you can't do the thing or you just like take your ideas or information from someone else, if you just almost be like, yeah, Matt Watson did this or whoever else, people will keep coming back to you for help because you pointed them to the good help. People 100%. Aren't going to be like, oh, what you mean you didn't invent all these exercises yourself, you fucking morons, I'm out of here. Like,
I've experienced that. Like I said, all the time where I'm like, this is where I got it from. People still value you. It adds to the value that you're giving that person by connecting them to other good resources. But I actually 100%. Think, Harvey, in terms of the pinching of ideas, or is it just inspiration? And then, do you need to give people credit or even up to the point of royalties? Like you get all that in music. And you know how it is just very feel-based, or like you try to keep it as common sense-based as possible because it's like, you're like, oh, there's 8 notes at the end of the day. Like people are going to play similar things. But then you hear some things, you're like, you probably need to credit that person a bit more. This is a bit stinky. That's what this is. It's just a bit on the nose. It's like, 100%. This smells like shit. What's that smell? You're like,
for sure. And that's it. And like, I think especially in a situation where like there's no like fucking what's the word? Like there's no like royalties court. You know what I mean? Like Matt Watson can't take ATG to court and be like, well, you guys actually stole this from me, blah, blah, blah. I think I know what you're saying. Like, and I think it would actually
just like validating as well, because there's been a couple of people who have criticized my criticism of ATG. And I'm like, well, this is pretty like it kind of stinks from top to bottom. Like it's sterilizing and constraining and creating dogma around S&C. It's just like it's kind of shit in terms of its like community impact on like other coaches and stuff like that. It's just
and I think that's it. I think like ultimately that's the whole thing here. Is like, and like I obviously don't know my fucking arse from my elbow in terms of S&C, but like I think that like I think that's all it is. It's just like I think it would actually improve ATG's product and like their experience with their clients if they just actually credit him. I don't think it would take away from them at all.
No, you know what it is? You know what's funny as well?
Just improves it.
Because like when I was hanging out in the UK with Matt and Chris and we're just training, we're making jokes about when's ATG going to pinch all this.
Yeah. It's like totally.
This will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. Like, you know, you guys will like it's fine. Like no one's going to massively
just seeing something like ahead of time and then it happened and you're like, oh no, surely it's not going to happen like exactly the way I think it is. And it's like, oh no, there you go.
Totally. Like, and that's it. Like, I think you guys as well, like you're pretty fucking, like I think you guys are pretty reasonable in this. Like I think your principles like come out in your comments, if that makes sense. And like I kind of feel like had ATG done this, had they done this and shouted out Matt Watson, I feel like you'd be on here being like, oh, you know what, ATG, fucking well done, good move. You did something pretty well there. You know what I mean? Like I don't think you're just here to shit on them for the sake of it at all.
Actually, but can I just say, like I've talked about a lot about how I just don't reply to comments enough and DMs, but just particularly with the last 2 weeks of content, I've had a lot of controversial posts. I haven't got back to many comments, but so much of my community's gotten back to those comments and just the things that they say and the arguments that they make. It just makes me, I get so proud. I'm just like, good. Like, not as in like I made these people better, but as in like, oh, these are the people who value my content. Like they think this way and they're handling these arguments like that. It's so awesome. Because the ATG army was in there, the functional patterns army was in there, and I just sort of let it go in the algorithm. I just sort of assumed that, you know, there'll be enough positive comments in there. And again, like I don't take it for granted. I think sometimes my behavior makes it look like I take that for granted, but I am trying to be better about that. I am trying to get back to more comments. But when you've had a couple of controversial posts a couple of days in a row, you just don't even know what you're getting back to at a certain point.
Do you think that people get the message that you are trying to make ATG not a better
everyone.
system, but like...
I mean, Atlas Power Shrug doesn't get it. He's like, I don't understand why we don't do every exercise. I'm like, oh, mate, like if that's really what you think I'm saying, I mean, and you don't. And I think what he says, I do tip raises instead of squats. And like, maybe he would. I think that's a really dumb way of training. I did.
What did I say to you? I said that in the comment sections, it feels like someone else is controlling his account.
I did want to get him on the podcast because I was like, he disagrees with me on enough things where I'm like, it's someone that I respect and we could have great shot. But I'm like, why do I actually like this person? Like, I follow him back because he followed me, started getting around him. I just think that he's cool because he's into spinal flexion. But in terms of like his ideas on programming or training, like I don't give a fuck about any. I don't think they're particularly bad or good. It's just, but I don't want to have a back and forth with him about those things. And just like I said, anyway, yeah. So I'm just airing this out because like I literally DM'd him one day when we were having a back and forth about ATG. I was like, oh, mate, I'll get you on the show. I'll just message him and just be like, hey, I know I said I'll get you on the show, but you've just been...
I missed that. What's his name?
He's got that's the other... I'm sick of fucking dealing with adults with superhero names. Like, fucking...
What, is it Clark Kent or something? What's his fucking name?
Atlas Power Shrug.
His name's Atlas. I mean, I don't know if that's on his driver's license.
I think his first name's Atlas.
No, as in his Instagram handle's Atlas Power Shrugged. But I don't know, when he goes on podcasts, he's not like, hey, I'm Fred. I don't think. I listened to him on an online debate and he introduced himself as Atlas Power Shrug. So, which is, it sounds, anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no Govy name on Google.
I respect him because I think he's really promoted human resiliency. We disagree on enough things where I'm like, I don't know if we can have a productive debate that'd be very fun for me. I think it'd just be a heaps stressful experience. If the community really gets it up to me, because I'm beholden to the community.
I'm in charge of the edit, so don't worry.
I don't think we're going to get heaps of messages from people being like, yeah, Angus, he's making good points about the ATG thing. You need to get him on and talk about it. But if anyone thinks that, let me know. Moving on, I bought another GoPro and it's kind of good, but it kind of sucks ass. Like the features are crazy, same as the last GoPro I bought. My last GoPro I just bought for filming my surfing. I think it took on water from the third surf onwards and it started just randomly turning off. And occasionally it'd like corrupt a file and not save a clip. And I was like, oh, at one point I'm going to have the surf of my life and this thing's going to fuck me. 2 years worth of surf trips though, it never really let me down really badly. Missed a couple of waves, a couple of sweet turns, but it never missed like a sick barrel or anything like that. But then I've started vlogging recently, and I thought I could do it with my iPhone. Well, no, I knew at some point that if I was serious about it, I have to get a vlogging setup. But I saw in the background of one of Spanion's videos that he'd been using a GoPro setup. So I was like, all right, let me look at the new GoPros. I was looking at all the new portable cameras. There's like the DJI, I think it's like Active 360 or something, and people are pretty high on them, but it's just, there's certain, like the mouth attachment for GoPro, there's just certain features. And it was the creator kit for the GoPro 12 that got me over the line. It's just got like a really good handle. And it's got a good mic attachment, so I can attach my Rode mic to it. And it's got a thing that extends the battery life and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I'll take a chance on GoPro, because GoPro to me has had such an amazing reputation for producing cameras for, like, you know, filming your surfing and action sports and things like that. And even nowadays, like things like vlogging and stuff like that. But my experience with GoPro is that, it just wasn't robust at all. Like it didn't live up to the hype. But then people said that they're just inconsistent. Like sometimes you just get bad ones. So I was like, all right, I'll take a punt, and I just hope that I'll get a well-manufactured one of my GoPro 12 series. But the first time I used it in they've got like this media attachment with, it's like I said, it's got an extra battery attachment, and it adds a direct microphone to it. And then I can, like I said, plug my mobile mic into it, and a light as well. And that overheated it while I was filming my training on the first session. And I saw like a bunch of really weird things come up on the display that, like, when I touched the icons, they wouldn't give me any further information. Like I couldn't find these icons. Like it was very weird. It seemed like, and with the case, I can't. Anyway, I'm just waiting for this thing to blow up on me. Like I said, it's already. I'm like, maybe it just needed to warm up, you know? Maybe the first session's always a little bit rough, but I'm going to be booting it through GoPro's headquarters because I've got a trip to New Zealand. One, I have vlogs to make and I have surfing to film, but I've also got a trip coming up to New Zealand in about 3 weeks, and I need a really tidy GoPro setup for that, or just a vlogging setup.
So is it the kind of thing where, like, because in my mind anyway, GoPro have become that thing where any kind of like portable, like, you know, extreme sports designed camera, I would call a GoPro. You know what I mean? Like they're the
Kleenex. What Kleenex is to tissues, GoPro is to action cameras.
Yeah, 100%. Like I would never say, can you chuck me that extreme sports camera? You know what I mean? I'd be like, chuck me the GoPro. You know, whether it's a GoPro or not. It's like, are there decent competitors out there? Like, what's the GoPro?
So. Kean had one. I think Kean has the DJI. I think David Gray, I think I saw him with one. And it's just a bit smaller. It's kind of like a stick sort of thing. And it has a monitor. It's designed to be a small camera. I don't know if it's... Oh, no, I think, they do have pretty much the identical market to GoPro. Maybe they're a little bit cheaper. I don't know how the quality of the image or the video compares, but I know with one of the DJIs, you can set it up to sort of track you. So if you're doing a WOD or if you're moving around the room as you're recording and talking, that'd sort of follow you. I wish you could have one at the beach, like set up a GoPro right in front of the bank that I'm surfing at the beach and just have like a chip in my wetsuit or something, but they haven't nailed that down yet. Or maybe DJI could. I need to look into it more because that would actually get me over the line, like one of the cameras being able to do that. And then, I think Active 360 is another one. And a bunch of people are jumping over to them and just saying that they're having really good experiences. Like I said, I didn't this time. Part of the reason as well, I had a real boomer moment. I went into JB Hi-Fi expecting them to be able to tell me things about cameras. I'll be like, I will communicate my needs to the young gentleman and he will assist me in making my decision. Oh, I just felt like such a fucking idiot, man. Like, he's just like reading shit off the box, and I got kind of mad because I was like, I just want someone who actually fucking knows.
Oh no, 100%.
I'm like saying, like, I want to use this thing to film me getting barreled and make vlogs. Which one's the best one for that? And he's just like, this one is this much. This one is this. And again, I know he's getting like, you know what I mean? It's just so not his problem. So I just took myself out of the store, went online, figured it out for myself. That's why I ended up committing to the GoPro. Their propaganda online's just too strong.
It is funny.
And so one more thing. Every now and then you get a sick pit. You're fully getting barreled, 100%. You know, but then because the peripheral vision or like the lens size of the GoPro, like it captures a lot. But if you're only just in the barrel, it just doesn't look good enough when you can only just see the lip coming over. Where sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of barrel ahead of me. And then you look at the footage and you're like, because again, it is sticking a little bit, again, another 6 inches out in front of your face. So you lose a bit of depth in the barrel. There's a super max lens attachment that I've also ordered. I couldn't get that in JB Hi-Fi and it wasn't part of the creator kit. So that was another $150. That should be here on Monday. And that's going to give me 170 degree wide angle. So if I am covered up at all, you are going to know about it and you're going to be seeing it from the POV. I'm really excited about that. I haven't seen anyone use it in the ocean. Like I don't think because Nathan Florence doesn't need 170 degrees of peripheral vision to show he's in a barrel because he's just in the biggest fucking barrels ever. I'm trying to look for like kind of average surfing content creators to see if they're getting any use out of the wide angle lens. Because I'm again, it is GoPro, so I'm sure it's designed for the action thing, but I wonder if it's like maybe not as when I'm just thinking about how it could potentially screw on, just looking at my GoPro, I'm like, this is just going to be like some light suction at best.
Don't they do like 360 cameras? 360 degrees? You know where it looks like it's a globe?
I hate those. I think that they are so... I don't understand. I know camera developers want to make new products and they want to challenge themselves to create more immersive experiences. My understanding is that's meant to be immersive, but that's not what your POV looks like. We don't have 360 vision. It's too wiggy. It just makes it look dumb and silly in my opinion. POV is mad. Drone footage of things, mad. Let's just, in terms of like what I want to see, just higher quality of that, more frames, more pixels.
Yeah,
let's just focus on that. Not like that. Yeah, because there's heaps of clips. A lot of, again, the guys who charge big waves to get these huge barrels. I'm like, I don't relate to this experience as a surfer whatsoever. Whereas in the POV, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm, feel like you're there. But yeah, I'm like, this feels like a much closer to a genuinely immersive experience.
Don't they have like drones that follow you around or some shit?
Yeah, I think there is some stuff like that.
But then that's two separate purchases. Like you're not having a drone in the gym.
It's a bit of an ass to get a drone in a barrel with you.
But does it need to be there?
How close is it shadowing you? And then you've just got this tailing you around the lineup, and it's just like this is the dickhead.
Yeah, that's hectic. It is funny, man. Like I've got a couple mates who have who worked at JB Hi-Fi for a long time, and like the kind of like advice they're given by like people who are training them is to like what they're allowed to say to customers, and like the general attitude of JB Hi-Fi is like it kind of changed my view on it. You know what I mean? Like they just really don't give a fuck, and it's that high volume turnover thing. They're just like they clearly just have this mode of like this is what we do. We are the leaders in the industry, and like anywhere you can go is like
we have things that people want to buy. Get out of the way, sir. I picked up. 100%.
Anytime you spend with a customer is time that you're not selling to someone else, you know?
Yeah, but customer service is so refreshing. When you get someone that genuinely cares about like the smallest shit when you're at a store, fuck, it's so good. Like,
totally.
I know it's hard to come by, but yeah, I guess it's a dying art. But
and that was always my thing. And like, again, there was like this real thing that happened when I was working in the guitar shop for a while where like, there was like a real kind of like we hired people that were great at sales and great whatever else, but like there was a while where not many people could really play that well and like weren't out there playing very well. And like it just kind of come to a point where you're like, people walking in a guitar shop, they kind of want to talk to someone who is out there doing it or like plays a lot and like, doesn't just read what it says on the fucking website and is like, well, this means this. It's like, what is it? How does it translate in real life? And that's kind of what you want, someone with like real life actual experience. Or someone who's just read so many reviews of everything that they can break it down, This happened to me with wetsuits as well. Because I made the decision to stop asking people in the board store about boards because I was like, right, I need to stop going in. Like, I know enough about boards. It's like, stop asking the guy. They just give you bullshit answers again, reading off the box type stuff. But there's a particular conundrum I'm having because for this New Zealand trip, I need a really warm wetsuit. So I got to buy 2 wetsuits this winter. I need a new one to get through the Aussie winter, and I need one specifically for this New Zealand surf trip. But I'll go on more cold water surf trips once I have this wetsuit.
But then even for my wetsuit, I want something warmer than what I had. So the classic wetsuit for the East Coast Aussie winter is a 3-2 wetsuit. So that's the millimeters of the thickness of the neoprene over the core or the legs versus the arms where you need a little bit of mobility. So 3 over the areas where you want more warmth, 2. And then so the next one up is a 4-3, which is again just a millimeter thicker all around, which is what I'll get for New Zealand. But then so on the East Coast of Australia, if you're a real sissy like I am, you've kind of got a couple of options. You can get these, not all 3-2s are the same. Some use a warmer neoprene. There's typically a trade-off with neoprene between its warmth and its thickness, the different varieties of it, among other things.
Right.
Maybe it's durability and shit like that as well. But then amongst the 4-3s, they have the ones that are focused on stretch or the ones that are focused on using a warmer neoprene. And what I'm asking the person in the store is, so what's the difference between, can you order them in warmth? Is it in order from like least warm and most flexible to most warm and least flexible? Does it go 3-2 normal, 3-2 with the warm shit, 4-3 with the stretchy shit, then 4-3 with the warm shit? Like, what's the difference between the warm 3-2 stuff and then the stretchy 4-3 stuff? And no one has they just looked at me like I'm a fucking idiot, of course.
Yeah.
Now asking people for help in stores. Like,
Yeah,
there are resources on the internet. I've worn wetsuits.
It's maybe worth like going to New Zealand and asking them there.
I'm arriving with a wetsuit. And no, it's a thing. Like, I'm definitely getting the 4-3. It's just, do I get a normal stretchy 4-3 to survive the Aussie winter? Or do I get, because this is the thing, I didn't want to get a 4-3 because I didn't want to sacrifice flexibility. But the extra warm 3-2, I put it on. I'm like, fuck, this feels like a bit of a straitjacket.
Yeah.
Wetsuit design has not advanced in the last decade. I can confidently say that. Like, I felt like when I was in high school, wetsuits came a long way. I went from wearing a 3-2 and just being like, oh my God, I can't survive winter and this is stiff, to like, oh my God, can't feel the water when I got a brand new suit and like super stretchy, uninhibited movement.
I had no idea how much like the feeling of the water and cold affect the surf. I thought you're just there battling it out, but yeah, from what it sounds like.
No. I'm a princess. Like, I'm gonna get the sickest fucking wetsuit. I'm gonna not feel a thing as I enter the water, other than just hands, feet, and head. Well, so for New Zealand, I'll definitely wear booties. I'm not sure if I'll wear gloves and a hood, but I'll be taking gloves.
What is booties? Sorry.
What is booties?
We call them booties in the ocean. I guess because booty is like treasure, isn't it? I don't know. We call them booties. Yeah, we're surfers. Well, so the whole surfing thing is like a giant cat suit, really.
Yeah.
Justin Hawkins out there.
Yeah, I like it. I like being a cut head to toe in like skin tight neoprene and stuff. Yeah, like you said, cat burglar mode.
Yeah.
No, it's actually
I've never
bad.
thought about it that much.
You know, surf industry is run by men, but I tell you what, they've never accounted for keeping space for your nuts in a wetsuit. I don't have big balls. Like they just don't account for balls. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy, man.
So you just
I don't know how guys with big balls surf.
Maybe they don't.
I mean, I think they're kind of betting on the fact that they shrink as you enter. But
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. The wetsuits push them into your stomach, which is just not what you want to be dealing with when you're dealing with the elements.
That is gross.
It's actually a hectic aspect of winter surfing. Let's move on. I don't like talking about this stuff.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, how about this whole oblique Seville running 982 and Noah Lyle's going 985? I don't know if I said those names right.
How it hasn't been super exciting with the prospects and what we've seen. There have been many elite 100-meter sprinters, male 100-meter sprinters. The women are looking, there's enough female sprinting talent that are just running like on the cusp of world records, if not setting world records. And there's also a bunch of new faces, sort of. But yeah, as far as the males, there's barely anyone's been sub 10. No one. The fastest time for 2024 was 9:93 up until the previous weekend. So Oblique Seville went 9:8. Was it 9:8 flat or 9:82? What was it actually? And then Noah Lyles went 9:85. I believe, yeah. Oblique Seville.
Oblique is 9:82, and then Noah was 9:85.
So both of them just like punched that world lead down, and all of a sudden it's gone from looking really shit heading into the Olympics to like, oh wow, like. Yeah, just so like no, like I said, not like oh my god, we're gonna see things that we haven't seen before. Okay, yeah, this is looking good now. This is looking very
realistically.
healthy.
What do you expect to see? What do you expect to see?
Sorry, one other thing I want to add to that is so Marcel Jacobs hasn't been in amazing shape, but apparently he has run quicker than what he ran this far out of Tokyo. So make of that what you will. I just feel like I don't know. I'm still a bit skeptical about Marcel Jacobs, but apparently, if you look at the historical data, that there are some things going his way as well, and for other guys as well. Like so, and that's the thing. It's not that like guys should be peaking for the Olympics. It's just you typically expect to see a few more guys going off and nudging it deeper into the sub tens. But 982 is like well ahead of where you need to be going into an Olympics. Even 985, like I said, it's just like if you just want to see a couple of people go below 99, it's like, oh, we've got some real potential like lightning in the field here. Blake Seville, I've sort of been aware of him for the entire Olympiad. I couldn't tell you how he went at Tokyo. I wouldn't mind if someone could bring that up. I don't know if he's particularly young either, but like he could sort of be like relatively new, like I said, last 4 years to the world stage. Or I'm not sure, maybe he's a little bit older than that. Oblique Seville is not someone that I permanently have in my head as like, again, I know who he is, and if I know who they are, then they're a pretty damn good sprinter. Just but I don't know many sprinters, but I don't have him up there with like your Colemans and your Jacobs and your Lyles and stuff like that. I do now. Yeah. I don't know what his 200's like.
Yeah, but when you do look at those times, what do you expect much of a difference on the Olympics? Like, are they holding back
to go even faster?
Yeah.
They're not necessarily holding back at those races. They could be, but more why they would not be running at their absolute potential would be in the way that they've structured their program. Like not peaking or even coming into meets with a certain amount of fatigue in them.
Yeah. Okay.
With the idea that, you can just gradually wash that off leading into the Olympics. Not everyone nails it. Like, peaking is truly an art, not a science.
What did Marcel get again?
For Tokyo? Or what does he run this year? I believe in Tokyo, did he go into the 9.7s? I know it wasn't higher than like a 9.83. I feel like 9.78 or 9.80, but maybe it's even a 9.82. I don't know if it's just because I've heard that number. But he was well clear of the 10 mark. Like really had some headroom. It was a quick build in Tokyo.
Oh, 9.8. He didn't dip below
9.80. Yeah, crazy. 9.80. So was that? I mean, that's absolute lightning. But yeah, so Selly hasn't gone sub 10 yet. Apparently he didn't go sub 10 until really close to the Olympics. Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Wow. And that's 9.82 oblique. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, oh my god, it'd be so exciting to see a 9. It's always exciting to see a 9.
You get a 9.7. I think he gets a 9.7.
Super rare. Like I said, he's got everything. Everything has to go his way. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Could potentially a 9.6. Like, imagine that. That'd be.
Whoa, nah. Really?
I still don't know because I know in terms of the people that have gone 9.6, it's like Usain Bolt, Tyson Gay, Johan Blake. But then I'm not sure how many times Usain Bolt went in the 9.6s. But maybe it was just literally, what was his record? Was it 9.69 he had in there? And then did he take it to a 9.58 or was there a world record in the middle? But yeah, I don't know how many sub 9.7 performances Bolt had. I feel like he had a lot in the 9.7s. I'm sure he had heaps in the 9.8s. And then obviously Asafa Powell has the most sub 10s ever. I'm 90% sure it's Asafa Powell, hence sub 10 king. He was just he was a machine for sub 10s. If Asafa Powell was still going, we would have had so many, again, just from Asafa running sub 10s.
Yeah. So it's Tyson Gay did a 9.69, so did Johan.
This isn't giving us how many, though. This is just like top 10 all time, is it? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like I said, we know Usain Bolt has done it at least twice. I just feel like he would have done it a few more times. Maybe not, though, because it is, like I said, still a wild mark for so many sprinters. Not so many. 3.
Oh, yeah. So Usain did 9.58, 9.63, and 9.69.
So at least 3. Okay.
Yeah.
But then I wonder if he hit some other 9.6s that weren't record performances. Because that's what I mean. Was that just the chronology of him breaking the record again and again and again. Not sort of talking about the 9.6s that he ran after his. I don't know if he hit a 9.6 after his 9.58.
Yeah, no, this is just like his. Yeah, it could be somewhere down here, but I think nah. And then we got. Yeah, so you're saying that Johan hit multiple 9.6s?
To my knowledge, Johan only hit it once because Johan had a crazy peak pretty early in his career. I think he was pretty fucking young, like really early 20s when he ran his 9.6 and when he had that crazy 200 performance, and then he failed a drug test like not too quick after that, and he never came back as good. He has had really good performances. He's an amazing athlete, but yeah, he had a very crazy early peak to his career. So far, he's still going. Oh, is maybe retired? I think he's still going.
I could only see 2 9.6s from Usain.
Yeah, well, so even for someone like Bolt, a 9.6 is super rare air. It's peak to the tits, running a good race.
Yeah.
Oh, so close to securing blocks over the weekend as well. I literally messaged a lady on Facebook Marketplace. It was the only pair of blocks in Wollongong, and she was literally a couple of Ks down the road, but didn't have notifications turned on Facebook Messenger, and they went to someone else.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was such a good
Why did you have them off?
That's good. I have all my notifications off.
Oh, crazy.
Sorry. Sorry to anyone who's trying to get onto me. I mean, I'm on my phone a lot. Like, I don't need to be that. My logic is I don't need the phone telling me to be on the phone more. I'm putting in time on the phone. Like, you know what I mean?
You don't want to be, you want to come to the phone. Yeah.
Yeah. I have like most of my, my Instagram notifications are all off, and a lot of my other ones are as well. It's the way to go. It just gets too fucking much.
It definitely does.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. At a certain point, especially when you're fucking just flying through the algorithm like your boy. We've been doing a lot of yapping.
Like if you like have enough of a habit anyway, you'll be going and checking these things regardless, you know? Like, you know what I mean? It's like I tell you when I look at these things, you know?
Check IG first thing in the morning, man. What are people saying about me? We've done a lot of yapping. I hope we've entertained you guys. We'll be back soon, but I have to make an Instagram post before 8 p.m. and it's also Origin night, and we're gonna have to upload this podcast off my shitty internet while I'm trying to upload a reel. So download your gymnastics program. That's really good. Over 2,300 coaches have grabbed their gymnastics program, probably close to 2,500 by the time this uploads. You don't want to be the only coach in the gym not knowing how to skin the cat. What a silly fool you would look like if that were the case. So get that and then go get yourself a free week of general physical preparation. And we'll see you next week.
Actually invented gymnastics as well, so this is fresh from the source.
100% facts.
I know Keegan loves this gymnastics. Hey, shout out to Keegan Smith for showing me how good gymnastics are. He's fuck. I might go do some short range training. Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, baby.
Bye-bye.